people knew what them. I didn't know what green light, red light. He said the green light, the red light. That's the way it was. I said, shit, in the South, we was in ditches. They didn't have to innovate. King James Brown. Dancing in the basement, and he's right here. And of course, hello out there to everybody in the world. You're listening to Nights Over Las Vegas Primetime, reaching 1 million of you, and we got the one and only King James Brown as we honor, as you watch this, talking about that 90-year-old James Brown. This big hits, but today the King is bringing it back with his original Soul of a Dancer. Can't Fight the Funk. And what you're listening to right now.
Dancing in the Basement.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, this song was actually produced and written by Preston Glass. And I had talked to him about a ballad, but I wanted it old school style. Like similar to Delphonics or Stylistics, and this is what he came up with.
I tell you, he did.
Yeah.
But for those out there listen, that red light, green light, what that is now?
The basement.
Oh, East Coast. I love it.
East Coast, yeah.
Great song,
Yeah.
King James Brown, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, yeah.
Over Las Vegas prime time, and the commander playing music everybody knows from the station that has more fun as we get it right on. You know what, ladies? How you doing? Are you having a good time? Mother's Day's coming up.
Oh, I used to sing this.
Hello there, everybody. This is Commander, two-time Hall of Famer and Guinness World Record holder at 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio, where 1 million listeners listen all the time in 202 countries. And today, honoring King James Brown, world-famous tribute artist in Vegas and in California, and you're hearing this music all over the world. Of course, we'll get ready to talk to him about a taping, what we're going to be doing, honoring James Brown in Las Vegas, downtown Fremont, live in the studio. You can only get there by invite invitation, so you might want to listen to the commander or get to know King James Brown personally. In the meantime, we're going to be talking about his hot jam, what made it inspired him, and it's all being done by our friends, okay? Right here at Val TV. Thank you so much. It's like yourself, so I'm not sure if you don't like it. With the commander playing music everybody knows. And of course, in studio coming up in the next hour, we got Val TV recording us live here. And of course, King James Brown, and I'm going to tell you about the story of 90 years. But right now, Mother's Day is coming up Sunday. And what a better way than to remember your mom, whether she's living or maybe she's passed away.
It's a word. In the mix with the commander. Come on.
That's motherfucker. Ah!
I wrote it for the Soul Train dance.
That blonde is hot. I mean, you riding that damn track. Damn it, I can still see that goddamn train coming. Oh man, you taking me so bad. And I'm having a good time. That motherfucker hot. What I'm gonna do when this is over, I'm just gonna bait you. You can come in like, hey, this is King James Brown, good to be here. Then you can just start talking about your music, what's inspired you.
Hello everybody. Hello, this is King James Brown, and I'm here at 22.3 Takeover Las Vegas with the Hall of Famer, the Commander, Bruce Garrett. And I'm so happy to be here with Val TV and everybody, and I just like, you know, I'm so happy he's playing my music, and it's so funky, it almost got me dancing. I'm ready to go. But that song you just heard, Soul of a Dancer, I originally wrote that and recorded that in LA, and I had the world famous Preston Glass, the world famous producer, the hit maker. I wrote the whole song in tribute to the Soul Train dancers. I was once a dancer back in, should I tell you?
Back in the day.
and so it was for, actually for Chuck Johnson, God bless his soul, he just passed away, but it was for his new video cable show called Conversations with Chuck Johnson. So it was wrote, and all the dancers were there, and from back then, the original Soul Train Dancers alumni. Oh, matter of fact, Valerie, Val TV, she was once a Soul Train dancer also.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, we got to give her a plug.
Okay.
Valerie McCONNEL, yeah,
All
she was a Soul Train dancer, she was a model, she was this.
And she still is a Soul Train dancer.
Oh,
Looking
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah, still fine. Okay. Still fine,
Thank
yeah. So, you know, and so that was great times, you know, and right now it's a great time. And, you know, but Soul of a Dancer, that's a real funky song. And I can't wait to get back on stage to do that song.
Yeah.
You know, because it's moving, it's funky, and you got to have great energy for that one.
Yeah.
Even I get tired after I get through with that one. But you know, but I have some great songs, many songs that I wrote and recorded. And I'm so happy that the Commander, Bruce Garrett, Yard Boogie, I have another one, Don't Fight the Funk. These are ones you probably haven't heard yet. Then you have the backup of Can't Fake the Funk. Then you have Breaking Loose. That's a sort of a mini life story of me, which everybody can relate to. And, you know, there was a duet that myself, King James Brown, and Jip Nina did called Midnight Maneuvers. That's for all the lovers in the house who like to creep during the night. I mean, you know, all legal. You know, and then there's another one, Get Up on the Dance Floor, which I wrote. And there's so many, and I get lost for words. But you have Money Ain't no Good If You Ain't Got Good Lovin'. That's off the album of the Soul of the Dancer. Then you had Love Sweat. That's another ballad. That's off that album. And you have Funk Room. That's on there. Then there's another song called Reckless that's on there. Which I have to talk about another song that hasn't been released yet. That was revised, came from actually Reckless. This one will be called Crazy. But it's very funky, and it's got that the funkadelic effect with time. A little Prince in it, so it's a mixture, and then it's got me, of course. I wrote it, so you know, I know you'll love that with the screaming guitars and all that, but it's R&B.
Wow.
So it's so many things going on, and then I don't know if I'm talking about everything now.
Yeah, that's good. That's
but you know, then you got the live stream that's happening June 9th. At the Media Building in downtown Las Vegas, which is on 6th Street, 317 South 6th Street. with Val TV along with pay-per-view, and with the Commander, the Hall of Famer. I call him Sir Bruce Gary because he's one of the baddest DJs here, and you gotta listen to him because nobody does it like him anymore. You know, and everybody feels at home when they listening to his station, you know, because he announced the artist that he just played. They don't do it. They don't do that no more. They just play the song, and if you don't have the right type of radio in your car, that the name pops up, you won't know who it is. Because there's no DJ to say, well, this is so and so. You know?
Hey man, I appreciate that. Hey, everybody out there, James, I appreciate that. By the way, that's why I came up with that theory. Play music, everybody knows, because music is so powerful, man.
Yeah.
It just blew me away telling this story. I had two questions that I had. One came from fans who were over there when I was talking.
Yeah.
I asked the fans question first.
Yeah.
They were saying, what is it like that you could tell us that James Brown's life could have been like by you being an impersonator going through that? And I was, I always emphasize how you sort of, in other words, he was creative, talented, and he did business as well. A lot of people don't realize all the historical things he did.
Yeah. He also cut out the middleman, and he did his own promotions
before time.
Right before
Concert,
anybody was doing. That's why he wasn't broke. A lot of artists back then, I won't name names, but they were promoted by. This is real, you white promoters, because most of the record companies was owned by the mob.
Correct.
And so, and so when they got signed, all the money went to the company. And so they made most of their money on the road. If they didn't go on the road, they didn't make any money. And, they were shaving money off the top and all this. And back then, artists did not believe in banks.
No.
They didn't believe in banks.
No.
And to be honest, that affected me when I started.
Really?
Because when I started, those same entertainers were still alive. I started so young, they were still alive. So I picked up that habit and trusted, and so they carried money around in suitcases, and their thing was back then, to buy your own bus.
And just in case y'all just tuning in, he shared the story of what it's like for King James Brown today in 2023, and where it was for him back in the day. The Flames. It was James Brown, the Flames, and then that went away. Can you share that with all? Because we talk this old school days, so you can answer some of the questions.
Well, the Flames actually was Bobby Bird. The Flames.
Okay.
And so James Brown, they both was in prison.
Huh?
They both were in prison, and
James Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. You want to give us just a little taste? I mean, we knew, but we got a young audience today. Everybody's there. But this guy is James Brown and all the movements and Prince and people do come.
They were very young, in the early 20s, and Bobby Bird and James Brown met in prison. And but Bobby Bird had a gospel group called the Flames. And so, they released Bobby Bird first, but while they were in, James Brown and Bobby Bird became good friends. And so, they wanted to release James Brown later, which they were trying to, but he needed an address. So, I guess they had to send Bobby Bird, his family sent the letters that he stayed with.
Oh, that's right. In order for him to get out, you have to have an address. Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
And so they let him in the group.
And that's amazing. So he turned that many challenges of life into a huge success.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
But he crossed all kind of lines loving his music. Today, do you have that experience as King James?
I do. I do. I mean,
I know, because I know my fans that they all say that to hear you.
Yeah.
You might have seen some of them that brought women that would. But you're crossing over.
Yeah, it's because when I started out with my stepfather's band, in Los Angeles, and which he was out of Compton, California. And I was living with my grandparents, me, my mother, my sister, my grandparents on 106th Street off of Avalon. And I was going to elementary school called 109th Street School. Then you had, the park right there. My mind just went blank.
But
anyway.
That's all good because it's just, I wanted to bring that up because those of you who will get a chance to see this on June the 9th, June 9th is when that is, because July 9th is my birthday, so that's why I'm sitting up there thinking about it. That's why I'm going to be 9 and out that night, you know what I mean? But that part of James Brown was so magnificent, and then to be able to do this, and by the way, to this day, he's been across the world as famous, and the tribute artists, and you know, we have great tribute artists who come and go. Some of them praise as Elvis and many others and all, but I tell you what, very seldom everybody, you can see somebody that's got the inner spirit and the music and the presentation, and you can't fake the funk.
No, you can't fake
you
the
doing
funk.
it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't
I'm
fake
just
the
trying to tell everybody, he don't be faking the funk. His band members are bad. They just playing their music. They actually just looking at the people jamming. That's how bad them boys are.
Yeah.
And then when y'all on, so if you get a chance to see them here in Las Vegas and LA, and boy, I can't even imagine you going south. You know, we might do that. Have bodyguards up and down there because you would tear that place apart.
The South, they loved my stuff. They loved it. You know, which my family's from the South.
Yeah, we get that. And, you know, a lot of those other boys are in here. You have been around a lot of the great entertainers in Las Vegas, and this city is on a super growth. That's why it's exciting to know that you're going to film on June the 9th, this historical event. So those you listen to me, and our 1 million listeners in different cities around the world, you'll be finding out how you can actually watch this through Val TV and everything, and 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio with King James Brown and that big event. One last question. I couldn't do this because you're my friend and all.
Yeah.
You must share with us what made you famous. I don't want to know her name, but I do want you to tell me what she did, because we're going to play Can't Fake the Funk for her after we get over. This is a true story, everybody.
I just told Val that on the way here.
Well, you need to tell the world that. I got 1 million listening ears.
I grew up with a Baptist family, and so basically I was very shy. I went to 109th Street School. I didn't know anything. I know I would sneak up at night and watch Elvis. I didn't know anything about James Brown. Only that when they called the roll and they got to my name, everybody started screaming and hollering. So it was a dance in our gym. I guess I was about the 5th grade. And there was a girl in my class that I was in love with, but I was so shy, I didn't know what to say to her. And we're in the gym, they playing music, and I'm standing up with the fellas against the wall. You know, she walks over to me and she says, James, would you like to dance? Come dance with me. Okay, so I never danced before, not that I knew of. So I went out to the dance floor, and I can't remember the song, but I went out on the dance floor, and right in the middle of the song, or before we even got to the middle, she stopped and looked at me with a weird look and said, James, you can't dance. It was so embarrassing. And I'm standing on the dance floor looking around like, wow. She just left me there. Oh, look, and so my heart was on the floor. Matter of fact, I heard it drop and I looked down to see if it was there. So I went back to my little corner, and it was just totally, like, it was embarrassing. Right now in my mind, I'm trying to relive that feeling, and it was not good. because everybody saw this. That's even worse. But that right there, I was so embarrassed. I was determined to go home. I didn't know where to start, but I was just going to start. And I remember thinking, my mother had a bunch of records in a stereo in the living room. And I started pulling them out. And I started playing them. And now you got to realize that the Twist was already dead. And whatever else dance they had, I don't know, but that was dead. But that was the first thing I started doing when I put on this song. I just needed to dance. And so what happened was, this was on my mind really bad, and I was in the comic books. I was into Superman. I'm trying to find Superman on TV, couldn't find him. And I ended up on the channel where Superman would be, and it was James Brown and the Famous Flames live at the Apollo. And he was right in the middle of Cold Sweat, and he had a pompadour like Elvis. I never seen a black man with a pompadour like that, but he was dancing and screaming, doing splits, and my mouth just dropped wide open. I guess I was about, yes. I guess I was around, 9, 10, somewhere up in there. And it dawned on me that my name was James Brown. It dawned on me. But it wasn't important. I just wanted to do the dance. And so just so happened he was on every day for 1 week, that same show. And I come home from school and I find it and I stand or watch, and I watch us move. I was standing in front of the television, and you got, mind you, they didn't have VCRs at that time, so I just had to watch. And I remembered it in my head, and I just decided I'm just going to learn this dance. But the thing about it is, when I used to get in front of the mirror to practice, I would sing along with the record. And I just kept going, and I remember I would do it in private. Nobody would see me. And until my mother caught me one day, she saw me dancing, and then the company come over, she'd call me out the bedroom, come dance for, so-and-so and this and that. I'd be embarrassed, want to dance for the church people. They said, well, if he can get that other leg going, he got it. So, I was young, putting holes in the carpet. And so I remember, but I kept practicing. And I remember my sisters, maybe a few months later, said, you starting to sound like James Brown. I guess she didn't take me serious. But that was probably the point where I started taking myself serious. And I remember my mother introduced me to her boyfriend, who was a guitar player, named Joe Ragland. And he had a band called Joe Ragland and the Fantastics out of Compton. And I was happy and he played guitar. Well, I felt that was my ticket. And then she married him. And I remember we moved to Compton. I was still practicing, nobody knew it except for a sister. And then we ended up in Inglewood, and I come straight home from school, and I practiced for hours. And he came home from work early one day, earlier than I expected, and he was watching me, and I didn't realize it, and I just happened to look in the mirror, and there he was. And I stopped dancing and singing. And he looked at me and said, why'd you stop? I said, cause you were standing there. I said, how long you been there? He said, about 45 minutes.
Wow.
And I was soaking wet, sweating, had a hole in the carpet. And he said, about 45 minutes. I said, why didn't you say something? He said, you were doing really good. He said, I had to just watch. And, you know, because the way I practice, I imagined the audience was there. I was all in. And I would use Live at the Apollo album, 2 album set, side A, B, C, and D. I would do side A, B, D, and start over again.
Wow.
All the way down.
Well, I tell you what, James, man, I wanted the world to know that story because I never forget when you first told me that. Listen, I want to thank you. We're going to come back and hear one of the gentlemen close out with my good friend, King James Brown, and we're going to remind you how you can see it. But right now, today, on this wonderful old school day, he rocks like this right now.
All right.
Yeah! We want everybody to get up and shake your body down. Let me see you sway.
Awesome interview.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was having fun with it.
Where'd you hear it, man?
Look at here.
I'm gonna get us on camera, this right here. We on camera. She's just standing
Oh,
over here.
yeah.
We already on camera.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, that was killer.
That's
I
good,
love
right?
that. That story is a must.
That story
Because
right
that
before
inspires
that.
you, you know what I'm saying?
Was saying, we want you to meet us.
It's been a very nice honor to have King James Brown and also Val TV. He didn't record everything Boris Ward right now. I will start right there with you, King James Brown. You can say the final words to everybody, but man, thank you so much. You know that?
Oh, and thank you. You're welcome, and thank you. Thank you. Well, my final words is June 9th. Your Hall of Famer, Bruce Garrett, will be hosting the live stream show at the Media Building along with Val TV and, you know, pay-per-view, which will be shown to 162 countries. And it's only $4.99, and you'll have all the information how to click into that real soon. I'll be doing an hour-and-a-half show with a big tribute to the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. And for those of you that don't know, realize my name is James Brown.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it's no hope, there's nothing added to it except for the king part is just a name. That's all. It doesn't mean I'm a king or anything. There's only one king, King Jesus. And, you know, but that's just to identify. This is King James Brown. The King James Brown Show proudly presents a tribute to the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, starring King James Brown. So I would like to say I love you all, and thank you for listening to all my original music. I'd like to say thank you to the commander, Bruce Garrett, for playing all my original songs, and I'd like to say thank you to Valerie McCONNEL, Val TV, for filming and giving me all these, you know, doing commercials and the whole 9 yards. You know, thank you so much. Thank you.
Val.
All right. I want to first thank you for allowing us here at the 22.3 Takeover, and I love this station, and I love Bruce Garrett, and he's been in business for a long time, and he is the Hall of Famer, so you don't want to miss it. June 9th. Mr. Garrett's going to be kicking it off, and then you're going to have the show of your life, the dancing, the dazzling. Try me. It's a man's world. And the moves and the dancing is dazzling. Be there.
Well, thank you both right there. And by the way, you know what's so historic when we sit in the studio, everybody? These are two originals, a part of Soul Train Dynamite Team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nights of Las Vegas prime time. 14 minutes before the top of the hour. This is King James Brown. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah.
Thanks so much.